time today in the center of Beijing when a man walked to the middle of the Avenue of Eternal Peace.
Well, all right. Welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast, Kevin and Chuck. Well, today I wanted to talk about all the distractions going on. I think that's really what it comes down to. I feel like there is so many threats out there and so many things going on in the news that no matter what crazy you hear, you're just kind of like, yeah, whatever. I think if it came across the news tomorrow and said like aliens landed on the White House lawn, you'd be like, yeah, whatever. Fucking Biden's probably lying
Next.
and whatever. Next. That's probably Trump propaganda. Like what like we just don't even anything you hear, you don't even know what to believe or what to care about is what's even more concerning.
Right.
I mean, I don't even think they have the effectiveness with like school shootings or anything because it used to be the big drama and the anti-gun people would play that up like, oh look, and now people are like, yeah, school shooting, whatever, no, freaking whatever, yeah. Oh, you mean you're talking about the one that no, two back, wait,
Yeah.
because
Oh, did that happen today?
right,
Oh,
like
the one last week. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm caught up. Like you're just you can't tell me you react the same way that you reacted when you heard one 3 years ago, about a school shooting. Now you're like, yeah, okay. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Some are ridiculous, like that whole Florida thing where the cops cower in fear, but we won't jump into that. That's not today's episode. But I guess I kind of have like a giant long list, but I kind of want to go into detail on some of it. But I feel like, all right, let me just read a synopsis. Now, this was kind of actually like out of the Bible. They were like a country with open borders, cultural decline, weak leadership, pornographic and demonic, presence in the culture. A divided country, unrest in the streets, out of control debt, government corruption. And I'm like, wait, is he talking about America? Is that because that sure sounds familiar? Or actually, when I saw it, I was like, is that Rome? Or are we talking about Rome? Because that's and I think it's been going on so long. Like we see it building that in my mind I keep thinking, oh, it's all got to collapse now, it's got to all fall apart, and then it doesn't. Like, and I don't even mean like SHTF, end of the world collapse. I just mean like the stock market's got to crash, or I guess we did get some hardcore inflation. I mean it I will say it's slowed down. It hasn't recessed back, but it's not increasing at the same
Yeah.
rapid
It's
pace.
never gonna go back. Yeah.
Right.
It's never go back.
But
Yeah. There's never deflation because that saves money for the general population, not
right,
corporations
not
and
the
the
tax
government.
man and the
Yeah, it
corporation,
costs the
right?
government money.
Yeah, no, but I don't know. I mean, we can dig into some of this because there is so much going on. It's like, wait, I don't even know what I'm supposed to worry about. And that's concerning. And
Yeah.
there are a lot of things we should be worried about. I have some things we're going to touch on that weren't even on that list, or maybe expand on that list. But there's a lot of bad going on in the world.
Yeah. Oh,
Kevin,
yeah.
what's your biggest fear when you were digging into this? What came across your mind that you were like, oh, that's
Well, I
kind
don't know if
of bad. We shouldn't be
you've
paying
seen this. I don't know why it wasn't really on the news. I just caught a couple of glimpses of this and I had to like dig it up. But the United States, the FBI came out with a report basically saying that cyber attacks from China are like a serious threat right now, and they're getting it. They're getting like backdoors into all of American utilities. This like just last week. So it's Chinese military doctrine to attempt to to induce societal panic in their adversary. Um, that was from the FBI. Do you remember the Colonial Pipeline shutdown? That was May. That was a cyber attack. It was a ransomware
Like
attack.
on the radar, gas. There wasn't any gas on the East Coast for like 2 days.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
It was a big crisis though for a few days.
right.
Yeah. So it says they said, imagine that on a massive scale. Many
Oh.
pipelines being shut down, disrupted telecommunications, meaning cell phones are offline, polluted water.
Wait, America would come to a standstill if we shut the
Shut the cell phones off?
down.
Yeah, people would lose their shit, man. Polluted water, trains derailing, air traffic controls being offline, port control systems going offline, meaning like travel and communication would be coming to an end. And people would be getting sick because, God knows what they'd be consuming. The water coming out of the tap might not be clean anymore. If you disrupt those systems.
So you're saying right after this episode, I should go get some anti-diarrhea pills?
Yes. So,
Keep those-
4-star General Paul Nakasone talked to Congress the other day about this, and nobody even mentioned it on the news. Like, whatever.
No.
Whatever. It's just they are very concerned about it, but whatever. Next thing. What's next?
And that's the thing, all right? So the guy who we put in charge and say, hey, you need to be paying attention to this and look into this, and then come back and tell us if there's a problem here.
Right.
He's like, all right, I got it. Oh shit, this is a big problem.
Yeah.
We really should be worried about this now. But I also look at the guys who did like the EMP commission. They're like, oh, we looked into this and this is a real threat and a big problem. And then we're like, yeah. So, but I got to say, even me, King Prepper here, the badass of prepping, I still am like, yeah, that's what that guy came up with. But that's the thing. That's what I'm worried about. It is, we kind of get where we're just like, yeah, it's one of another 1,000, and that is really concerning. Right. But do I fly off the handle and run crazy or what? But all right. So one, I just saw a big story, I guess. Man, dude, I don't even know that I could pick one. Like, I like you came out strong and have, like, yours is more concerning than mine. But mine, I'm like, oh, man, I just watched this thing on AI, and it was a big thing about AI is being taught morality. And it's being taught morality by the people who are teaching our kids in the colleges right now, or the kids coming out of college right now. And we think that AI would be like perfect. It would be, something because it thinks for itself, right? So it would come up with, well, this is the best idea. This is the way society is going to have the best outcome. But if you select an outcome that's twisted and messed up, all right, so an outcome where everybody gets the same fair thing at the end and we're all equal and we all have the same thing, except rich people still get to keep their stuff. If that's what you put as the desired outcome, then that's not necessary. That's where I get with the twisted and messed up. All right. That's where I'm going with that. Like, maybe you guys are like, yeah, that's what I want. Well, then, maybe AI is right for you. You should choose.
Right. And AI has come across as very racist. I remember I saw this woman that she had posted a picture and for an interview or for job applications, and she had AI like fix it up so that it looked more professional, and it made her into a white lady.
Yeah. Put this on the application. You'll get hired for sure. Yeah, but then that's the thing is we have AI writing the programs, but then AI reviewing the applications. So, this one's white. That one's
white. Yep. That's the one.
Send that one. What a world we live in, right? Well,
Yeah,
what's that I keep seeing memes about that? Was it Ariana Grande or Grande or whatever? I don't know.
I don't know
Some
who that
girl,
is.
but they were like they show a picture of her and she like my wife's like, "Oh, it's probably just lighting or whatever." But she's like a white girl and then she's like a black girl. Like in
Hmm.
5 years later or whatever.
Right.
And you're like, "What?" And they were like, "Oh, look here, she looks just like Ariel from The Little Mermaid." And then the next
Hmm.
one, they're like, "Oh, she looks like Ariel from The Little Mermaid."
Right.
I'm like, I see what they did there.
Yeah,
That's horrible.
nice.
I'm probably gonna go to hell for that one.
Yeah.
Um, but that's the thing. And my point is, it's just we're all kind of shifting into whatever we want the world to be. And I guess you could say, well, Chuck, that means we live in amazing times where you can be whatever you want to be and you can make the world your own reality. And I
Hmm.
guess that could be good if that's what you want.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, I
I
want
want
to
to make
shape the world
myself into
into
a
something.
7'4" guy so I can play basketball, but I mean
Yes.
that hasn't worked out yet.
I keep looking and I'm like, every day I'm like, is he going to look like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar this week? Is it going to be? Because
Hmm.
that interview totally different than,
Yeah.
today's episode. So that's the thing. So I was looking at another one, right? So apparently all 50 states, there's this, I think I saw it on a Glenn Beck thing, whatever, which I know, people have their opinions, whatever. But you know how, like, when you look at like when you buy light bulbs or something or a new lamp, it has that little tag that says UL approved.
Hmm.
You know who they are, right? That unite, it's like universal legal, whatever. I don't know. Bottom line is there's a uniform rating system that basically a bunch of countries will kind of agree to and jump on board with, so they kind of have uniformity and set standards. Hey, look, we're going to have lighting with two-prong receptacles, and whatever, and then everybody's standard kind of works with that. Now, I know if you're in Europe and you have that disaster of an electrical system, you're like, wait, we want to be part of the team.
Hmm.
You're left out. That
Yeah,
didn't
you're
work
out.
out for you,
You already
right? That
went
no,
too far.
no. But for the rest of us in the civilized world, right?
Hmm.
Because America's so civilized. You've seen what we elect as our leaders.
Right.
We're making good choices over here.
Right.
So anyway, they decided to venture in to politics, I would say. So it turns out they got all 50 US states to sign on that the all your retirement accounts, like your 401k, anything that's managed by another company, like, so like Fidelity manages
Hmm.
I think mine is, and I think almost everybody is like Vanguard Group, which I have to
Right.
point out is like BlackRock. We won't talk about. I mean, it's
Hmm.
not BlackRock, but it's like BlackRock owns 40% of it or something.
Right. Right.
It's one of those, like, the kind of, one hand in the other, right? So anyway, Vanguard Group, if it's something like that, basically they own your retirement account. You don't.
Hmm.
So while they're managing it, it's like, so think of it like this. It's if you have all your money, right? You have $50,000 and I give it to the bank, which is your investment account, right? I give
Hmm.
it to the bank. It's their money to do what they want. Like you said, here, go ahead and manage it and then give it back to me and do your best shot. So the problem is if that bank, Fidelity, Vanguard Group, any of these goes belly up, all their creditors can draw off your retirement account before you can say, hey, you have my $50,000 or whatever.
Nice. Nice. That's good. That's
You
good. Makes me
see,
feel safe.
so
Yeah.
that way, if the big companies collapse, because obviously when they passed that law, the government was looking out for you
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not big corporations and their corporate bank
Yeah.
friends.
If
And
you
dude,
look into
all
any
50
sort of
states
bankruptcy
went
law,
for this. Yeah.
yeah, if you look into any sort of bankruptcy law, it doesn't benefit people.
No.
It's always benefited corporations over people. You know what I
that's
mean? You can go bankrupt,
right. And not pay
but
your bill. But
yeah.
yeah, here's where it's kind of a big joke that people don't understand, right? So what happens is, right, corporations pay tons of tax, right? They
Mhm.
pay tax on everything they do. Now, what happens is they end up basically paying no tax. And here's why. Because you have people who do bankruptcy, right? Now, we'll just use small numbers to make it easy, but we'll say you have $5,000 and you're like, you know what? There's no way I can ever pay back that $5,000. I need to file bankruptcy. Bank's going to say, all right, now, one, mind you, you've been probably making payments. And if $5,000 is wiping you out, you were probably paying like 20, 25% interest.
Right.
And I mean, it might be 19, it might be 17, whatever. You're paying
Mhm.
interest. You've probably already paid back that
They
$5,000.
already got the
But
5,000. Yeah.
we won't even talk about that. And now your balance is all right, it was 7,000. You've paid
Mhm.
it down. Now you owe 5,000. But you've really paid them more than
Right.
$5,000 already. All right. Now, and remember, most people actually pay off the whole loan. But the guy who does bankruptcy, he owes $5,000. Now, this guy, they're going to say, well, we tried to collect that money and we had to fill out the paperwork and do everything to do it. So that cost our legal team $2,000. And we reached out to him 3 more times, had to make 5 calls. That brings us up to $7,000. And then it was really uncomfortable for us because we didn't know what to do and we lost sleep. So that's another $3,000. So you have all these legal fees that end up adding up to like $15,000. And
Right.
then they say, look, we lost $15,000. Now, mind you, it was really AI that reached out to you and organized it,
Right.
collected the
And they
money, and did
actually got
everything.
paid the money that they are owed just in interest, but not the principal.
Right. And because you forfeited on your deal. So your
Mhm.
credit gets the shaft and then they write it off. Now, I'm not saying that means, oh, well, I shouldn't pay any of my bills because they're just out to get me. That's not really what I mean. What I mean is they're screwing you. But again, do you worry about that? Is that the crisis? Is that where I need to go? Like, hey, the government's out to screw me.
Mhm.
They're working against me and stealing my retirement. Or, dude, the dream article, I shared it on the Facebook group. Apparently, that I got to pull it up. Tell us what your thing is. I'll dig this one up. Tell us
All
the
right.
next big
Well,
crisis.
the next big crisis is propaganda. Now, a lot of people are not really concerned about propaganda. They, go on Facebook, they watch the news, they do all this sort of, oh, I'm informed. I know what the fuck's going on. So here's a big one. U.S. intelligence verified that Russian propaganda strategy for the 2022 midterms was to target attack messaging against the Democratic Party in a way that undermined support for Ukraine, which was previously bipartisan and now is strictly divided along party lines. Fox News repeated a string of Russian talking points intended to undermine U.S. support for Ukraine from the continued Russian invasion, going so far as to cast Ukraine as the aggressor. So you're watching the news and they're just repeating Russian talking points. And you're like, oh, I'm not affected by Russian propaganda. The
Right.
fucking news is. Fox News is fucking doing it. So, I mean, yeah, you can trust the news that I'm sure they're telling you all the stuff that you need to hear that's accurate, But
Yeah.
everybody's so full of shit, it's impossible to even get any actual information.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing. You don't even know what to believe. And that's why we immediately like dismiss stuff. Plus, I hate to say it, when news is globally, I mean, obviously, we should be informed, right? You should
Mhm.
know what's kind of going on and pay attention because all this stuff is relevant to your family's safety and to your, everything that's going on is relevant to what goes on in the world, right? It's going to affect your retirement account. It's going to affect what the gas pump says tomorrow, right? What's going on globally. But we get so caught up and overwhelmed in shenanigans. There was I don't know if you guys know, there's that 4-Hour Work Week guy, Tim Ferriss, right? You guys probably heard of him. I
Yep.
don't know. Maybe he's more my older generation was listening to him than the young kids. But I hate to say it, it's a lot of his ideas have probably influenced how you work and live and been shaped. So he's definitely, somebody to consider. But he kind of talked about how he doesn't get caught up following politics. He just kind of wastes instead of wasting his effort, he goes and talks to his friends that, hey, like you're a hardcore Trump supporter. I'm going to go over and see, why do you like Trump? What's going on? And then my other friend's a hardcore Biden supporter. I'm going to go talk to him and see what he has to say about why he's good, why the other guy's bad. And I'll glance at some headlines here and there. And you can kind of piece together a lot of what's going on because other people will condense all that information for you.
Right.
And I hate to say it, that's kind of more the approach I've been taking with the news in the last 5 years,
Yeah.
because it just is so much noise that you're just
Yeah.
like, I have to decide. Now, mind you,
And then
I don't have any friends, but I mean, I'm going to like somebody on the internet that I trust
Right.
on an opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it's it's ridiculous that you can say, that liberals will watch like MSNBC, conservatives will watch Fox News, and they're getting completely different fucking stories. It's not even, it's like it's completely different countries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all because it's so slanted. Everybody has their own agenda that the information they're giving you is like, they're pulling all that shit out of their ass.
Exactly.
They bring 2 facts and then 90 opinions, and like, you don't know what the fuck to believe anymore. Everybody's so fucking full of bullshit that it's like, you could just fucking bang your head against the wall and get the same information.
Right. No, exactly. Dude, it's everywhere. And just everything you see, it's overwhelming. So the big article I was looking up a minute ago here. So this came across the Yahoo News feed, but it was funny. The wife saw it in her Facebook feed, and then I just saw it the other day, and I was like, yeah, that's right. So it's an article from the Telegraph, which I don't even know if that's like a real paper, but somehow Yahoo News felt the need to propagate it. So whether it's true or not, well, you're going to hear it and you're going to know if it's true or not because you're not an idiot. But here we go. This came out January 22nd, 2024. It's an article by Joe Pinkstone or Pinkston. Looks like Pinkstone. Yahoo News, and it's from the Telegraph. The title is Carbon Footprint of Homegrown Food is 5 times greater than those grown conventionally.
Oh, okay. So your
you're
garden
ruining the planet if you have a home garden. 5 times worse. So you better just knock that out. We better make it illegal to have home gardens. And there's a whole big article explaining it, and it's as dumb as it sounds. It just really, goes through and
Yep. All right.
But I don't know what else to tell you. It's just one of those things that you're just like, really? Could that even be something that you could say? But it's when I hear stuff like that, that's when I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't, it's like you're not even trying to, sell me the truth. You're just like, you know what? I'm lazy. I'm going to phone it in. This is the outcome I want. So it would be great if you guys just went ahead and did what you told. Like the guy from Office Space. Like, yeah, I didn't hear anything you say, but it'd be great if you just went ahead and do what I tell you. Just do that. That's what that article is all about.
So I've got I went through the annual threat assessment of the U.S. Intelligence Committee. Okay. You can do it too. It's it's www.dni.gov. So it's 40 pages long. I got the condensed version for you here.
Condensed. All right.
Yeah. So 40. these are the major threats that the U.S. is facing internationally: infectious disease, food insecurities due to the Russian-Ukraine conflict, biological weapons, developing technologies, trends in digital authoritarianism. I don't even know what the hell that means.
Oh, all right.
Nuclear proliferation, transnational organized crime, global terrorism, and I didn't even touch on Iran and Russia and China. They got whole big sections on all three of them. So, if you're wondering about what to worry about, you can go right there and read the whole
They'll
list.
tell you every morning 40 things you need to be panicked about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, right? So, and we're not even talking about, wait, maybe we should be worried about our kids in the schools who are, getting all kinds of confusion on the their gender and their everything else. I went to the eye doctor about a week ago, and no joke, on the application, it didn't say gender, it said current gender. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute, current? So, like, I understand, like, you might be like, well, I'm a boy, but anybody I hear say that kind of stuff, they're like, I was always a boy. They just
Mhm.
got it wrong in the hospital and didn't
Right,
know.
right.
Like, in my heart, I was a boy, true and true. Well, if it's current, then is it really like, no, this is what I am, or is this what I feel like?
Right. Currently, do you have a wiener? That would be a big question. You know what I mean? To me, anyway. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know
I
how
don't
any of
wanna
this stuff
say
works.
I get into trouble, but, Rush Limbaugh always used to say, "Oh, they had the added dick to me surgery."
Yeah.
I'm a horrible person.
Yeah, you're terrible. You're going to hell. That's fine. That's fine. We all knew that anyway.
I always alienate people.
Yeah.
Maybe I could learn to be nice.
That's why we have 6 listeners.
That could be.
It's always a
Or
different
4.
6,
No,
though.
it's
They keep
4 at the
rotating.
moment. So, it's all right, 6, but 2 of them are, like, off today in the
Right.
rotation. All right.
But I mean, it really is a thing like that. You don't know what to worry about, so you just block it all out,
Yeah.
You stop watching the news because it's all bullshit anyway. And then the news is all designed to scare the shit out of you anyway. You know what I
Right.
mean? There's never like a news story about how levels of starvation and
Or on the decline.
are on the decline
Government's
worldwide.
done
And
such a good job. There's a surplus of corn and a surplus of wheat, and we're all
Mhm.
gonna have Cheerios and whatever, and it's gonna work out great. That's never the news story you wake
Right,
up to.
right. But I mean, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. So China is planning on destroying the United States. Just wait until they invade Taiwan, and then they'll hit us all at once, and
Yes.
we'll have to deal with our own bullshit rather than help out the Taiwanese.
Yeah. Well,
Whatever.
I think that's it. Or it's, hey, we're gonna hit the Taiwanese, and then if you do something,
Mhm.
oh, look, all your power grid went down. That's weird.
Yeah.
Guess you guys will be caught up with that for a little while.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. It's nonstop, and it gets overwhelming. And we're so divided where we don't like each other. I think either I've been out of politics so much but I feel like it's on the decline compared to what it was with the hate inside the country
Right.
over the last, like, I feel like it's declined from the last 4 or 5 years ago, right? Prior to the last election,
Mhm.
I feel like there was a lot more tension and like, oh, I'm not going to talk to my kid because they like Trump, or
Right.
I'm not going to. How could my parents be so stupid they like Biden, or
Mhm.
whatever, right? Whatever it is, and and now I think there's less of that. And the same thing, like
Less
COVID,
division.
I think a little bit less.
A
Is
little
it
bit
just because
less.
I stopped watching the news? Is it
Well, I
because I
mean, if
left
you
New
stop watching
York,
the news and
or
just like talk to your neighbors and friends and shit,
they're like, hey,
everything's
everything's pretty
fine.
good,
It turns
right?
out everything's fine. But yeah.
Yep, going, getting gas, everything's good. The world, keeps turning. But and I think that's the thing too, right? There was Glenn Beck wrote a book, The Overton Window, right? I know I shouldn't mention this guy twice in an episode, but um the Overton window, and it was all that sliding scale of like normalcy bias,
Right.
where, well, that's how it always, life has always been good. I've always had food. We've never had a major cyber attack that affected me so much,
Mhm.
or directly. Yeah, there's been school shootings, but I've never seen one. So it's not like something that really happens.
Right.
I never knew anybody who was in, a mass shooting attack or something. So it obviously isn't something I need to be worried about. It- I'm saying that's how people perceive the world because they can't kind of wrap their head around it.
Mhm.
And to be honest, when there's a million things going on all around you, all around the world, that you you just become numb to it. It's just so much. There is so much information out there, and so much of it ends up to be not true. And that's the whole thing is you don't know, like, all right, if 80% of what I hear is nonsense, then why
Mhm.
do I care about any of it? But we might be missing the big thing that's happening right there in front of us. And that's kind of what I wanted to warn you guys about and to kind of have you be careful and pay attention because just I think there's a way we could prepare for everything. And that's really what it comes down to. I think the more you're self-reliant, the more you can handle your own business, the more prepared you're going to be for any one of these disasters, right?
Mhm.
If you're carrying some kind of, you have a concealed carry or you learn some kind of way to protect yourself, like we talk about, that's going to cover 30% of these things going on. It's going to cover, right? If the grocery stores all shut down and there's riots at Walmart and people are beating each other up, at least you can protect your family and the people close to you, right? So
Mhm.
that'll be, a big part of it. But then the same thing, if a mugger attacks you on the street or, people are all on the drugs or whatever, same thing. Yeah, I caught you. So that's the whole thing is you're prepared in that way. Now, what if we start stockpiling some food and preparing for that, right? So if we have food set aside, if we get a disruption in the gas pipelines shut down and the grocery stores stop being restocked, right? That food storage is going to help carry us through that. If there's an earthquake and they can't bring in trucks and water and whatever, us stockpiling food and water, that's going to cover that. That's going to, so there are core principles of survival. And, the same thing. We need to be looking at, can we get out of debt? Can we have the least amount of expenses? And therefore, when bad things come up, we're kind of hedged against that. If there's
Mhm.
inflation or hyperinflation, right? Well, one, I've already stockpiled some food and stuff. So I got that at a big discount if I beat inflation.
Mhm.
If the trucks stop running, things like that, I beat that. I'm ahead of that. Um, in EMP, I'm ahead of that. So there's so many things that are universal. And I think personal security, having food and water, securing your home, securing your property, getting out of debt. I think having a way to grow and sustain your own existence, with your property, having things well prepared, like uh, taking care of your vehicle, keeping the oil changed or at least checking the levels right in your car. We have different beliefs on how long or how frequent we need to change our oil. I
Mhm.
think I got ruined with those commercials where they would put in the synthetic and drain all the oil out and it kept
Right.
running. I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't need to
Fine. You
use
don't even need oil.
because when they made my truck in 1971, that oil, when you drain it out, it seized up in a minute. The oil I'm
Mhm.
putting in there now, you can run it for 40 hours without any oil in it. I saw the commercial.
Mhm. It's
So
fine. I'm
new
sure it's fine.
oil, I don't even need to worry. Before they wanted me to change it every 5,000 miles. Now I
Mhm.
should be good for a lifetime.
Mhm.
Of course, people were usually driving a vehicle like 60,000 miles and then throwing it out, but
Yeah.
we won't talk about it. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, it is one of those things though where 10% of the work gets you 90% of the way there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can spend hours and hours, stockpiling ammo and getting ready for building your Faraday cage but really just having a firearm that has some ammo and having 2 weeks worth of food, that's going to save you from half of the problems you're going to run into.
I think that's true.
Everything else after that is good,
Gravy,
but it's
right?
not, but it's not necessary. Just doing the basics puts you way ahead of most people.
Way ahead. But let's not say not necessary. We need to be prepping. We need months. We need
Yep.
I don't know,
Years.
man. Every day I wake up and I'm like, man, there is a lot going on that I should be terrified about.
hmm
And man,
Nuclear winter, 15 years. That's how much food you need.
I'm watching some kind of whatever when they killed off the dinosaurs and everything else. They said, kind of radiation for days. Only people who got into caves. Do I need an underground bunker? I mean,
Mhm.
these are the things we need to be worried about. And that's my point. Maybe we don't need to worry about everything, but we need to prepare for life. We need to prepare for, common sense stuff that is going to be consistent and carry through on any of these events. It's going to put you ahead. Now, I'm not sure I'll go full on with Kevin about 2 weeks of food is enough, but 2 weeks of food is a great starting point. And
Right.
knowing how to, how to go get food, how to hunt squirrels and rabbits and do things, how to skin an animal, how to trap animals, right? That's going to put you ahead. Now, we've talked about, there's probably not going to be a lot of deer left if the world ends and everybody's like, oh, I'm just going to hunt and go
Right.
get meat in my backyard. I understand that. But do you have a sustainable garden? Do you live in a place where it's not illegal to, grow things in your yard, right? I mean, that's kind of
That
crazy
is an
world.
actual thing. There are certain places where you can't grow. Yeah. I
I don't know.
remember not too long ago, I forget what state it was, but a lady got a massive fine because she took the flowers out of her front yard and put vegetables in there.
Or
Nope,
what is
can't do
it?
that.
I don't know if California does it anymore, but I know a while back there were a lot of parts of California that you couldn't collect rainwater.
Yeah.
And, that was the thing. And I'm like, really? Rainwater? Like, because gutter?
It fell on my
Nope.
land. I don't understand why.
Nope. It
That's
fell
my
into
rain.
the state of California, Kevin. You're misunderstanding.
hmm
We allow you. And that's the thing too, is we've really, as a society, changed the culture of like you owning something versus the community or the state or the planet owns
Yeah.
it,
Well, I
right?
mean, you can buy your own house, but don't pay the property taxes and see how long you
Right.
live there.
See if you
You
own
know
it.
what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
You we
You don't own
are
shit.
serfs. And
Uh-huh.
that's the thing. And so the closer you get to being prepared is really just the more self-reliant you are. When you're not dependent on the system and dependent on things from outside to dictate how you live your life, and whether that's dependent on your boss for a paycheck, could that go away tomorrow?
hmm
Are you dependent on the grocery stores to be able to get food? Are you dependent on the town to get water or at least electricity from the whatever local utility to get
hmm
water out of the well? If every one of these things that you can get around, medical, right? Can you get medical care? Do you have antibiotics? Do you have this stuff? The less you are reliant on everybody else, the more you're going to be able to, one, help yourself, two, help your family, and three, help your people around you, help your community, right? These are things that, we could be able to do, right? And that's really where it goes and where we need to get. But that's what I got. I know you guys love a good political rant from Chuck because you don't get those too often about what's wrong with America. But here you are today. We're laying it out for you. I know it's been a while. We haven't laid it out like that. So you guys have ideas,
Yeah.
concerns, questions? Go ahead, Kevin. What you got?
Yeah. Email us at preppingbadass at gmail.com. And
Nice.
we definitely would like to hear any of your guys' ideas, your input. And if you have show topics, if you have any equipment, any stuff that you've gotten recently that you want to brag about, let us know. Let us know. We're always into checking out new stuff and hearing some of the ideas from you guys.
I like it. So, and I'll put in a link if you want to get some badass gear, kind of like somewhere there.
Ooh, yeah, fancy.
Survival and basic badass coffee mug, something like that, right? You guys would be
Mhm.
cool.
I got my own here.
Kevin's got the old, is it the talk shit, get hit?
That's the one I got here.
Mess around. But anyway, so you want to get cool stuff? I'll put a link in the notes. Sometimes the preppingbadass.com works, but I don't know. I was hit or miss when I was using it the other day. So I'm working on that, maybe slowly if I ever get a break at work. But anyway, we really appreciate you guys listening and sticking around, and we'd love if you share and like and subscribe and all that stuff. Leave reviews.
Go to our Facebook page.
That's awesome. Facebook page. You can catch up on how your home garden is killing the planet. We got you covered. So anyway, with that, I would say stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys next week.